Congratulations to the two of you. This is such an extraordinary, beautiful film. And I needed a lot of Kleenex, so thank you. What was the initial reaction to the material? Michael, why don't you start?
Just, read the script and just really emotionally affected me. I just felt it was an original story, a sort of old-fashioned type of story. I found that very refreshing. The characters were just very human, and they're sort of just the way they tried to sort of navigate their lives and do the best they could. I found it really heart-rending and just yeah, very, very touching, but refreshing. I hadn't read something like that ever before.
Alicia, were you bawling your head off when you first read it?
I did. Or I was very emotional when I read the script the first time, and I think that's one of the things that, and then after that I went back and read the book. But Derek has something that he managed also, and he did the rewrite for the script, and what he's done with his previous films I like is the fact that they feel so big in the sense that the issues are becoming so large, and it's a big dilemma, and it's heart-wrenching, and it's mostly because it's something very in a bigger world. It's set within very small frames and within a few people, and you kind of immediately relate. And maybe it's a small issue for the world, but because it's so intimate and so close, you get so you relate to it. And this is about good people sometimes don't make the best or the right decisions, but that's something that we all can relate to, and what comes with that, and about it's a story about love and forgiveness, about healing, about emotional survival. So I totally kind of knew that I dreamt of being a part of it when I read it.
Yeah, and listen, and at the core too, it's such a beautiful love story. I mean, what you would do for love, like it's just unbelievable, and it wouldn't work without phenomenal chemistry, which you both did from the second we both see you on screen together. When did you guys know it just clicked and it worked?
With that kind of, chemistry, from being able to do this kind of film with those two characters, having someone like Derek, he works in a way that I remember after I had seen Blue Valentine, The Place Beyond the Pines, I went online and saw actually these kind of interviews when they talked about how they made it and what we did, and that's a lot of, also improvisation leading into the scenes and making sure that every scene feels extremely authentic, because you've already been in that space for maybe 10 minutes. Because of how you shoot in digital nowadays, we did takes that were up to 35 minutes. And I think that makes it really comfortable, because it's not like you just turn on the camera and say go, and instead you kind of find your way into a scene, and it feels extremely natural, and you can actually just get kind of a bit lost in that space and explore.
How did you get so lost in Tom? Oh my God, it was just riveting watching you and just watch the two of you with, when you're crying. It just, to me, felt so real.
I just felt he's such a good person, I kind of felt, wow, this is someone to sort of aspire to be. I just really warmed to him from the first read. I was like, wow, he's a real sort of hero. Of my sort of idea of what a hero would be. So I just felt like I had to do him justice and do, M.L. Stedman justice. She created him, and as Alicia said, Derek, I was a huge fan of his work, and also Alicia. So it was, I just felt the responsibility to do him justice. But what's interesting about this story as well, outside of the central story, is Rachel Weisz's story, and her husband Franz, and the idea of how a mob can sort of attack an outsider, and we're dealing a lot with this sort of idea of sort of migration and immigrants, and his story, what happens to him is absolutely tragic, and we're well aware that that this is sort of thing happens today, and it's 100 years ago to when this story is being set. So there's just so many layers to this story that, again, very human, very real, very important story. you know, the idea of people trying to start a family and losing a baby, you know, multiple times. These are real human struggles, and I think, you know, a lot of the times with the films that we see now, they can be sort of just very sort of disposable topics, and this seemed like a really worthy one.
Well, it really is. You guys were just magnificent in it. Beautiful to watch. Lovely to see you two together, and
Thank you.
congratulations
Thank you.
on it. It just broke my heart as a mom, especially. Oh my goodness. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
so much.
Great.